Hey everybody, so we're going to go over chapter 12 response study. There are 6 areas we're going to go over real quick. Area number 1, had to complete the assessing your IPC, measuring your ethical behavior. It was a score chart. Which behaviors occur more or less often in your IPC? I'm a people watcher and I listen to other people's conversations. So if I'm out and about, and there's somebody next to me, a couple's having a conversation, or even not necessarily next to me, I read conversations and body language. If people are getting upset or something, just kind of being self-aware. But it's probably not the best thing for me to do. In what ways would you like to improve your ethical community? Keep my nose in my own business. Do others perceive your ethical communication differently? If so, why? No, I don't think, because they don't know I'm listening and everything else. I do my best to keep pretty ethically to everybody. Then I had to ask 3 people if they had any surprises. The only surprise was me admitting that I listened to other people's conversations, which I think everybody's kind of, I won't say nosy, but if you hear something going on, you kind of listen in. Area 2, which of the behaviors listed have you experienced? There's a table in the book that you had to look at. Which behaviors listed have you experienced or engaged in? How did behaviors affect your relationships? I've experienced most, if not all of them, at some point or another. I think it always is going to affect like the trust between people, whether it's relational or a stranger. I say a stranger, but my friend Jorge at the HEB meat market, you go ask him, like, what's the best meats they got on, like, he's not necessarily a stranger, but you don't want him putting something that costs a little more but is not that good in front of you, especially if you know better, because then you feel like he's just trying to sell something to you. So not that Jorge would do that. And then the credibility. So again, trust, credibility goes hand in hand. Let's see. Area 3, there's another table, a self-assessment tool. Indicate how often you engage in these behaviors. Define each. I honestly don't see myself engaging a lot in it. I try to live, and I talked about in this chapter, the golden rule. Treat everybody the way I want to be treated. And I see it's kind of the first time I ever heard of the platinum rule. Treat everybody the way they want to be treated. I found that kind of odd, just because I don't know. I mean, I guess without asking them, but I wouldn't know how to treat somebody I didn't know without knowing them first. To what extent are you more deceptive or less deceptive in your face-to-face, phone, online? Neither. I'm pretty straightforward, straight shooter. Whether I'm in person with you, on the phone with you, I have a tendency on the phone to talk a little more, and it's always technical though. I'm always trying to educate, explain better, maybe because I am on the phone. But face to face, I do the same thing, but I guess I feel like face to face I'm able to point and show things like that. So do you find yourself being more or less susceptible with certain relational partners? No. I mean, I can't say that really, but basically I'm a butthead 100% of the time, and I don't try to be difficult, but I do try to be the same, and so that way everybody kind of gets, where I'm coming from, and what you're getting. There's no fluff. Has anyone deceived you using any of these behaviors? If so, yes. False excuses, I've been outright lied to, probably plenty more. Now, area 4. Share your answers. This was the apply it exercise. Share your answers to the questions listed in the exercise. Read about the textbook chapter. Are they good questions to ask? Why not? My answers were no to each question. Maybe I misunderstood what this was getting at. I felt like these would be good questions to ask yourself if you were going to deceive someone, if you had no choice. But then I was like, if you don't have any choice, what's it matter if you're going to? Why would you ask yourself those questions? So maybe I would say no. Number 5, create your own scenario where you need to confront someone regarding an unethical behavior. Use the I language. So I don't have to create a scenario. I've had this one a lot with my employees. Like this one, the one I ended up using, and it's kind of, I can go both ways, but not following directions. Had an employee trim a ton of shrubs, and he did a good job trimming them, but then he took a blower and tried to blow all the trimmings back up underneath the shrubs because it was up against the house, and like no one's going to go in between the house and the shrub because they were big, thick shrubs. So he was being lazy. He got caught. We had to have a conversation, and so I told him, I said, hey, I would like for you to always rake the trimmings up whenever we trim, and then that way, and so it was I'm disappointed you left all the trimmings, say in Miss Smith's flower beds. I would like us, and then I made sure to use the us too, even though I wasn't there, but because we're a team, I would like us as a team to always rake the trimmings up whenever we trim shrubs. Number 6, this was recognize and encourage ethical behaviors. Subsection, explain how you might applaud yourself for communicating ethically, and how you might also recognize and reinforce the ethical choices of others. So this is just intrapersonal and interpersonal. Mine is just having a sense of accomplishment whenever my kids, whenever I'm able to correct them without having to ground them, raise my voice. They get, like, as soon as I explain it or I start, and they're like, oh, I got you. Like that, and then they tell it back to me, that's when I know they've been listening to. I didn't think they were listening, but they were listening to. And then the second part of this is how would you recognize and reinforce in others? So same thing with my kids. My youngest son especially, he's really good right now. Every day I come home, hey bud, you have a good day? And it's, yes, I did. And then there's sometimes he's like, Dad, and this last one was Halloween. They had character dress up day, and he was Harry Potter. He was the coolest looking Harry Potter too. But he had a little wand, and on the bus, he was taking the wand and he was scratching the bus seat in front of him, and it was making these little black marks. And at first he said he was able to wipe them off, but then he kept doing it and he couldn't get them off. And so he got in trouble for that. He came home, he told me all about it. He's like, hey Dad, you might get a phone call. This is what I did. I told the bus driver I'd never do it again. I was very sorry. And so, I couldn't get mad at him. I said, buddy, thank you very much for telling me the truth, being upfront with me. He has a tablet, and so I said, hey, this means? He's like, yeah, I know, no tablet time today. So he knew he was good with the consequence, and I didn't hear anything else about it. And so that is chapter 12 discussion. Thank you.